Blackwood Manor loomed over the desolate landscape, a monolith of dread. Its silhouette, a jagged scar against the twilight, sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. The townsfolk spoke of it in hushed tones, their words laced with fear and superstition. Blackwood Manor was not just a house, it was a living entity, they said, its heart beating with a darkness older than time itself. Stories of its sinister past whispered through generations, each tale more horrifying than the last. It was a place where joy went to die, and fear reigned supreme. The manor stood as a testament to forgotten sins, its once grand facade now crumbling under the weight of its gruesome history. Its windows, like the eyes of a predator, watched the town below, their emptiness hinting at the horrors contained within. No one dared to approach the house, let alone spend a night within its decaying walls. For Blackwood Manor was not merely haunted, it consumed, its hunger insatiable, its thirst for terror unquenchable. The group of friends, young and fueled by an intoxicating blend of bravado and naivety, gathered at the edge of the town, their laughter echoing in the stillness of the approaching night. There was Liam, the self-proclaimed leader, his confidence bordering on arrogance. Emily, the skeptic, tried to mask her unease with forced laughter. Ben, the quiet observer, watched with a sense of foreboding. Sophie, ever the adventurous one, bubbled with nervous excitement. And then there was Daniel, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. The dare had been thrown, a challenge to spend a night in Blackwood Manor, a test of courage that none dared refuse. It started as a joke, a way to impress, but as the twilight deepened, and the shadow of the manor stretched towards them, the weight of their decision settled in. They were about to trespass on hallowed, or rather unholy ground, a place where fear was not just an emotion, but a tangible force. They walked towards the manor, their youthful bravado a flimsy shield against the darkness that awaited them. The heavy oak door creaked open, as if resisting their entry, and the group stepped inside. The air within was thick with the scent of decay, and the silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of their own breathing. Dust motes danced in the faint moonlight that filtered through the grimy windows, illuminating the dilapidated grandeur of the manor. Cobwebs hung like macabre decorations, and the air was heavy with the weight of unseen eyes.
Did you guys hear that?
A sudden gust of wind slammed a door shut, the sound echoing through the empty halls like a scream. Nervous laughter filled the oppressive silence as they tried to shake off the growing sense of unease.
This place gives me the creeps.
Then came the whispers, soft the rustling of leaves, then growing louder, swirling around them, pronouncements of dread in some unknown tongue. The temperature plummeted, and the shadows seemed to writhe and twist, taking on menacing forms.
I think we should leave.
Their laughter died in their throats, replaced by a cold, primal fear. The vanishing fear takes hold. They pressed on, their initial bravado replaced by a desperate need to find a way out of the labyrinthine manor. The walls seemed to close in on them, the air thick with an unspoken dread. Each room they entered seemed to mirror their growing fear, the atmosphere becoming more oppressive with every step they took. The shadows played tricks on their eyes, creating illusions that made their hearts race. The whispers, barely audible, seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, amplifying their anxieties.
We need to find a way out now. This place, it's changing. The walls, the rooms, everything feels alive.
Liam, his confidence shattered, frantically searched for an exit, his voice echoing in the vast emptiness. Every corner he turned seemed to lead him deeper into the unknown.
Ben, I can't take this anymore. The fear is suffocating. Something's here. I know it. I can feel it watching us, waiting.
Emily, her skepticism replaced by terror, clung to Ben, her eyes darting around the room, expecting something to emerge from the darkness. Every creak and groan of the old house made her jump. Then, without warning, Daniel was gone. It was as if the house had swallowed him whole. One minute he was there, his face pale with terror. The next he had vanished, as if he had never been. The spot where he stood was now an empty void.
Daniel, Daniel, where are you? Answer me.
Panic seized them, their cries for him swallowed by the oppressive silence of the house. The walls seemed to absorb their voices, leaving only an eerie stillness. The manor, it seemed, had claimed its first victim, and the friends were trapped in a nightmare, their worst fears becoming a terrifying reality. The once grand house now felt like a sinister trap. Their initial bravado had morphed into raw, primal terror. The fear was now etched deeply into their faces. They were no longer visitors in Blackwood Manor, they were prisoners. The house had ensnared them, and escape seemed impossible. Shadows of madness, the house feeds. It thrives on the darkness within. The house seemed to feed on their fear, growing stronger with each terrified breath they took. Every heartbeat, every shiver added to its power. Hallways stretched, rooms shifted, and the whispers morphed into taunting laughter. The very architecture seemed to mock their plight. A shadowy figure flickered at the edge of their vision, gone before they could focus on it, its presence leaving them cold and breathless. It was as if the house itself was alive, playing cruel tricks on their minds.
Did you see that? Something's there. It's watching us.
They were disoriented, their minds playing tricks on them, their senses overwhelmed by the palpable evil that permeated the very walls of the manor. The air was thick with dread, making it hard to breathe. Liam, driven mad by fear, ran screaming into the darkness, his cries echoing through the empty halls until they were abruptly cut short. The silence that followed was even more terrifying.
Liam, no, come back. Don't leave us alone here.
Emily and Ben, their sanity hanging by a thread, huddled together, their backs against a wall, their eyes wide with terror. They clung to each other, hoping for some semblance of safety. Sophie, once so full of life, now babbled incoherently, her laughter a chilling counterpoint to the whispers that swirled around them. Her mind had been shattered by the house's relentless assaults.
Sophie, please, snap out of it. We need you.
The manor was playing with them, toying with them like a cat with a mouse, savouring their terror before it consumed them entirely. It was a predator, and they were its prey.
Whispering menacingly, "You can't escape. You belong to the house now, forever."
Dawn breaks, but the nightmare remains. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the grimy windows, silence descended upon Blackwood Manor. The whispers ceased, the shadows retreated, and the air, though still thick with the stench of decay, seemed lighter, as if the house itself was exhaling after a night of feasting. The only evidence of the horrors that had unfolded were the two figures huddled in a corner, their eyes vacant, their minds shattered. The night had been long and filled with unspeakable terror, leaving them in a state of shock and disbelief.
Ben, what happened to us? How did we end up here?
Emily and Ben, their minds broken by the horrors they had witnessed, stumbled out of the house and into the blinding light of day. The sunlight felt foreign, almost hostile, as if the world outside had changed while they were trapped inside. They had no memory of the night, only a lingering sense of dread and the chilling knowledge that something was terribly wrong. The events of the night were a blur, a series of fragmented images and sounds that made no sense.
I can't remember. It's all so hazy. But I know we have to get away from here. We can't stay.
They returned to the town, their silence speaking volumes, but their words would fail them, unable to convey the depth of their fear and confusion, their minds unable to process the horrors they had endured. Blackwood Manor stood silent, its hunger temporarily satiated. but its appetite for fear remained, awaiting its next unsuspecting victims. The cycle would continue, an endless loop of terror and despair, the town oblivious to the horrors that unfolded within the walls of the manor, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the darkness that lies at the heart of humanity. The manor's secrets were buried deep, and its malevolent presence loomed over the town, a constant reminder of the evil that lurked within.